Hi all, this is Once and Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon challenge. Last time was a surprisingly tricky in places run through Carlos as I sought to see if I could beat Pokemon Y with just a single Totodile. Today though, I try a proper good old fashioned team run as I see if I can beat Pokemon Heart Gold with only Headbutt Tree Pokemon. Okay, so Headbutt is a Johto mechanic where if we headbutt trees, there is a chance that Pokemon can fall down from them. Now, we are going to be working with a limited pool of Pokemon as we are playing Heart Gold. We can get the Butterfree line, the Spearow line, the Venomoth line, the Execute line, the Noctowl line, the Ariados line, plus Heracross, the Aipom line and the Pineco line. So, there's some Pokemon here that I've not used before or for a very long time. We can get additional Pokemon in the post game, but nothing here is really an upgrade on what we get otherwise. Maybe Slacking, but that's about the length and breadth of it. I mean, I suppose the question, would Swallow or Staraptor really be better than Fearow or Noctowl? Actually, that's a stupid question. They would be better, but would they be so much better than would warrant that amount of training at that point of the game? The rules are on the screen throughout. This is one that I've had the idea to do for absolutely ages and I'll look forward to it. There was going to be one exception to the rule of using Headbutt Pokemon, but I'll talk about it shortly. As always folks, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comment section down below or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. And if you do enjoy what you see, then like, subscribe and ring that bell. Let's do this. Right then, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer. Do you know there are only 2 unevolved Pokemon in Gen 4 who get Headbutt as a level 1 move? One is Cranidos and the other is Seal, so I did originally start this run with using the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Chikorita with Seal so that I can get started on my run as soon as possible. I even filmed a few hours of it, but I changed my mind and started over. I got way too many good Pokemon too early and it didn't feel earned. I didn't like the idea. I didn't get too far with the run, didn't even get near Dark Cave, but I made that choice. So, take 2. I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Chikorita with Shroomish so that I can start the run with a Headbutt Tree Pokemon who does get Headbutt as a level up move. It's not too late in its moveset, we'll have it in the early 20s level wise. Plus, Breloom is cool. Given we get quite a few bug and grass options on this run, I feel like the rival having Cyndaquil will be the hardest for us to fight. Shroomish is the only one that gets actual Headbutt. Noctowl does get Zen Headbutt via level up, but not really the issue here, not really what we need. Anyway, I need levels for sure as I begin the run, given that there's 2 reasons for that. First, we have to level up to get Headbutt so that the team can be fleshed out. That much is true. I have some ideas regarding the team. I mean, Heracross seems like a very good option. I don't have much experience with Forretress, so maybe I could get some use there as an experience to myself. Aipom is cool and we can actually evolve it without needing an item. Before I decided on using Shroomish as the starter, I was thinking Executor, even if I do know there'll be a lot of pain trying to get the Leaf Stone to evolve it. I actually do have a challenge planned to use Execute in the future, so a lot of stuff is saying to me not to use it. I'd probably pick Noctowl over Fearow, given that it feels more Gen 2-y. I know Gen 2 tries not to feel like Gen 2 sometimes, given the lack of Johto Pokemon at times in Johto. I was thinking of using Venomoth over Butterfree, but I put Butterfree on the overlay and the thumbnail, I think. I mean, neither a particularly stellar Pokemon, but I could make them work, I guess. We've got some levels ahead of the rival fight and we can crit our first tackle to do some major damage to his Cyndaquil. Our grass move isn't going to do a huge amount of damage, but the fact we crit that first move is very helpful and we soon take him down for the count. The second reason that we need the levels, I just realised I never covered it, is that we can't get any team additions until we learn Headbutt. And we have a flying gym coming up. Now, this is Pokemon Heart Gold, and the twist here in this game is that Faulkner is actually a moderately competent trainer, unlike in base Gold and Silver. I know it's hard to believe. His levels are higher and he has a somewhat okay moveset for a first gym leader. Plus, Roost might be problematic if he insists on healing his Pidgeotto. which is somewhat of a big obstacle for this point in the game. I should have more options ahead of the bug gym after that, but we will see. Anyway, let's do the Faulkner battle and face off with him in his gym. We are level 16, so hopefully that gives us somewhat of a puncher's chance against him. He begins with a Pidgey, and the first thing we do is land Stun Spore, but we start getting hit with sand attacks over the course of the first few rounds, while we also miss Leech Seed. My confidence of victory here is fading. We do eventually land a Leech Seed, we get hit with a few tackles over the course of the battle, but our own tackles do pretty decent damage and we soon bring Pidgey down. Pidgeotto is next. It has Gust, which is pretty worrying for sure, but we do connect with Stun Spore before landing Leech Seed at the second attempt, by which point we've dropped into red health. We then get some pretty fortunate paralysis luck over the next few turns as Leech Seed does chip damage on the bird and heals us as we land our tackle attacks to cause damage. We still have to be careful because Gust is capable of hurting us quite badly, but somehow we pull it off and get the badge, taking Pidgeotto out. Heading south then, it's quite nice to get the Miracle Seed for Shroomish outside of town. We've got Union Cave to go through, which shouldn't be an issue, but then there'll be some Team Rocket fights, and then there will be the Bug Gym. I'll have to see who or what I can get for my team before then. I soon learn Headbutt, and I finally go about making some captures to add to the team, grabbing a Spearow, who I will probably not use, as well as a Heracross, who I definitely will use for sure. I also catch a Hoot Hoot, as well as an Execute, which, as I said, I probably won't be using. I also grab a Pineco and an Apom on my journeys, and now I have a stack of training to do. I get everyone to at least level 13 and then go and start picking fights with Team Rocket because this seems like the thing to do. I did not know Heracross got Aerial Ace as a level up move this early on, so that might just have made the Bug Gym somewhat more doable, particularly since Hoot Hoot also has Peck. We'll have a rival fight upcoming soon too, and that could be interesting, but I fancy our chances against him. On a completely separate tangent, I just find myself thinking about a line of dialogue that Kurt has about how he has Pokemon, and I do wonder what Kurt's team would be. I think for sure he'd have Voltorb / Electrode. I mean, if we look at the Legends Arceus canon, I could probably see him having Hisuian Voltorb or Electrode. I didn't even go to Bulbapedia and look this up because I was quite curious. In the Adventures manga, he had a Shuckle, and in the Pocket Monsters manga, he had a Slowpoke. This is just a thought. I mean, I really wanted to go down making the Pokemon theory videos. That'd be a particularly interesting idea, but I don't really even think that's something I'd want to do. I mean, it might be an interesting thing to do. I mean, I've thought about doing Pokemon What Ifs before, which I did write fanfiction once upon a time, but that time has passed and I don't believe the fanfiction exists anymore. Definitely doesn't exist on the website I posted it on because I went back some years later and deleted it in a fit of I don't remember why I deleted it. Shame, mate? Well, it wasn't some of my best work. I've probably mentioned it on here before. I've written a few books and self-published on Amazon, and maybe one or two of them did somewhat take some inspiration from the Pokemon fanfic I wrote, so maybe that's had something in there, but yeah. Anyway, I'm digress. Bugsy. Remember, I thought this might be a troubling fight when we only had Shroomish? Well, it turns out Heracross is more than a match for him. I'm pretty sure that and Cypher have a similar base stat total. Cypher hits Quick Attack, but we start spamming Aerial Ace for decent damage. We get Cypher to eat its berry and Bugsy to use a Super Potion, as we keep hurting it bad with our Flying type move. Non-stab, we are a lower level by the way. Cypher spams Leers but never attacks again, and we soon take it out. Metapod is second and it hits a tackle as we can only two-shot it with Aerial Ace, but it hardly does a lot of damage before we level up and one-shot Kakuna with Aerial Ace. Not the same thing, but I remember there was a Johto anime episode where Ash's Heracross fought a Scizor, and I just remember that being absolutely brilliant at the time. Anyway, the rival fight is next. I know that he's going to start with Ghastly, and so I put Apom up front for Ghost immunity. Apom is faster than Ghastly and hits Astonish, getting the flinch, and we can quickly take it out with another Astonish, meaning we can level up and learn the move Tickle. That's handy because Quilava is out next and I start to spam Tickle. Unfortunately, Quilava keeps hitting smoke screens, and so not all of the tickles connect. We do manage to land 3 of them though, which pretty nice. It uses a lot of Leers on us too, dropping our defence repeatedly, and I soon figure Apom should leave the fray and I bring in Hoot Hoot. Even with those defence drops, Peck doesn't do a lot of damage to Quilava, who hits a bunch of Ember attacks. Eventually, at the second attempt, after the first one misses, we do put Quilava to sleep with Hypnosis. I then bring Shroomish in to start using Headbutts. We get badly hurt by an Ember when Quilava wakes up early, but take it out with a second Headbutt. Zubat is a 2-shot with Headbutt, yet it doesn't go smoothly, as it does manage to confuse us with Supersonic, prompting us to hit ourselves in confusion, and it also lands a bite on us for moderate damage, but we soon come out on the other side. In the Ilex Forest, after headbutting trees for a bit, I managed to catch a Metapod to round out my team. I think I'll go Butterfree over Venomoth since I can get it earlier, and I immediately set out on the level up trail to get it evolving into Butterfree. Because I am not Bugsy, if I have a Metapod I want it to evolve so it can actually be useful for the team. There is the normal gym upcoming, which is likely not going to be fun. I should have Breloom by then though, and between Breloom and Heracross we should be able to deal with the Miltank well. Maybe Apom will be able to mess it up with Tickle too. I don't think this is going to be too bad, which that's quite unusual for the Whitney fights. There'll be another rival fight and the Ghost Gym after that, but between Butterfree and my Hoot Hoot / Noctowl, if we've got one by then, we should have Psychic moves by that point. While I'm fighting in the Goldenrod Underground, Shroomish evolves into Breloom, and that is what I was wanting before facing off with Whitney. This is going to improve our chances heavily, especially since we learn Mach Punch on evolution. Well, I might as well get this fight out of the way then. I march into the gym, find my way to Whitney, and then immediately throw down with her, watching as she begins with Clefairy and I send in Hoot Hoot. My first act is to put Clefairy to sleep with Hypnosis. I do realise that this denies me use of Uproar, probably our best attacking move at this point, and so I start to spam Peck instead. It isn't long before we get afflicted with Cute Charm. Clefairy spams Metronome a lot in this fight, landing Aerial Ace, which isn't too bad, and Fury Swipes, which is actually a bit worse because it hits a lot of times. We also get hit with quite a few double slaps, which also hurt, and it isn't long before Hoot Hoot goes down. Apom comes in and we start hitting Rock Smash attacks, forcing Whitney to use a Super Potion, which is a good thing. We do get hurt by double slap and her Metronome turns into Poison Powder, poisoning my Purple Monkey. We lose turns to Infatuation, we get hit with Metronome turned Icy Wind, and eventually bring Clefairy down with Rock Smash. Miltank outspeeds Apom and takes us out with Stomp. Butterfree comes in, I want to hit Stun Spore, but we get outsped and wrecked with Rollout for a one-shot, which maybe not surprising. I send in Pineco next, and we get hit with the second turn of Rollout. We survive it though, and then I call for Self-Destruct, which hurts Miltank considerably. Breloom then comes in and strikes a Mach Punch to take Miltank down and give us the win. It's not long after that I managed to evolve my Hoot Hoot into Noctowl, which, not one of the more fantastic regional birds, but definitely an upgrade, and I'm sure I'll be able to get some use out of this. I'm travelling north now, and I'll have a potentially tricky rival fight ahead, followed by a potentially even more tricky Ghost Gym. I really need to sit down at some point and do some training with my team, making sure we don't get left behind levels wise. The last two gyms, some of my Pokemon have been a bit under leveled, so I want to make sure we have a fighting chance of being at least somewhat equal in terms of strength. I think I need to start evolving stuff before long too. Burnt our rival fight then, and it's time to face off with him. I always think this is somewhat of a good barometer for upcoming gyms. He begins with Ghastly, I start with Butterfree. I'm not liking how we are slower as it outspeeds and uses Curse before we take it out with Confusion. Quilava is second, I try for Stun Spore, but we're slower and get taken out with Flame Wheel for our first loss of the fight. Pinecoat comes in, we get hit with Smokescreen, and then we blow up with Self-Destruct to take it out in one shot. I'd have looked a fool if that had missed thanks to Smokescreen. I send Heracross in, we two-shot Zubat with Horn Attack, but we are lucky in that it misses Supersonic and we watch it crash down. Last is Magnemite, we one-shot with Brick Break to give us a win. I fight my way through to the Ghost Gym next, and I have put some prep into place. I put a metronome on Noctowl, since we will be spamming Peck, and set out to begin the fight with my Mighty Owl. I've been through the game corner getting items and TMs. Morty begins with Ghastly, who fails with Spite right at the start as we spam Peck, hitting the move over and over, gaining a little extra damage every time we do. After 3 Pecks, we get Morty to waste a Hyper Potion and we keep on going. I don't think it can hurt us as it only ever goes for Spite. Anyway, we take Ghastly out and face off with Haunter number 1. It tries and fails to put us to sleep thanks to our ability, and we spam Peck over and over while it goes for Curse. 2 Pecks plus the way it hurts itself take it out, and Noctowl faces Gengar. Gengar uses Mean Look and hits a few Sucker Punches on us. We soon get taken out in combination with Curse damage, but we do maybe a third of its health with Peck attacks. Aipom comes in, we get hit with Sucker Punch but force Gengar to use its berry after we land Astonish. Gengar uses Mean Look, misses Hypnosis, and we land another Astonish before we do get put to sleep and taken out with Sucker Punch. Butterfree comes in, Gengar misses Hypnosis, and then we take it out with Confusion. Butterfree can deal with Haunter number 2 relatively smoothly because although we get outsped and hit with 2 Nightshades, we can bring it down with 2 Confusion attacks, and we just about have enough health left. 4 badges down. Travelling through the lighthouse, I continue the task of getting my team stronger. We have some quite steep level curves coming up with the Fighting Gym and the Steel Gym. I'm not too worried about the Fighting Gym, we have a lot of ways to strike back in there. The fact Heracross knows Aerial Ace makes me quite confident about the Primate fight, as it likes to spam double team in this game. The Steel Gym might be rough, especially with the Thunder Waving Magnemites I have no doubt in my mind exist. After travelling across the sea, I enter the Fighting Gym in Cianwood City, and as I said, I have a plan I'm pretty sure might work. We stop the waterfall from falling on Chuck, and then we face off as he begins with Primate. Heracross uses Swords Dance as the Quick Claw activates, while Primate uses Double Team twice. This might be pretty scary under normal circumstances, but we get the chance to attack and we dually one-shot with Aerial Ace to take it out. Poliwrath is his final Pokemon. We are faster and strike an Aerial Ace, but Poliwrath survives it and hits Body Slam. Thankfully, no paralysis though, as that would make things interesting. I think my other 5 Pokemon could probably take it out, but we'll never find out as we strike another Aerial Ace to end it. I get some evolutions soon after, as Pineco evolves into Forretress, which improves it significantly. And also, not too long after, Aipom learns Double Hit and Julie evolves into Ambipom, which again improves it. Not design-wise, but power-wise. I don't think Ambipom is a bad design per se, but I think Aipom is a great design. I head back to do the Steel Gym, and I do have a plan. I am worried about being paralysed by Magnemite, but this plan should do. I begin with Butterfree right at the start and immediately go for Safeguard, which blocks the oncoming Thunder Wave. I then switch out into Heracross, who has to tank 2 Thunderbolts while I go for Swords Dance. I would have liked to go for another Swords Dance, but I was worried about a high damage roll. We take out both Magnemite number 1 and Magnemite number 2 with Brick Break. And then it's Steelix. We smash it with a Brick Break for about 2/3 of its health, forcing it to eat its berry. Steelix then revenge kills Heracross with Iron Tail. Butterfree comes in, and although we hit a Psybeam on Steelix for some small damage, we are very quickly taken out with a single Rock Throw. Ambipom comes in and I don't even attack. I just spam Tickle over and over and over again, with the intent of wrecking Steelix's physical stats. Steelix does put up a Sandstorm for chip damage, but the Iron Tails do progressively less and less damage as time goes by. But we do manage to get the 5th Tickle in before we finally go down. Breloom comes in and floors Steelix with Mach Punch to give us the win. I'm on my way to the next bit of the game now, doing the Lake of Rage with an eye on the Rocket Hideout next. There will be the Ice Gym, which I'm not too concerned about, then a rival fight in Goldenrod City. Archer might be interesting in this game, given we do have a fairly prominent weakness to fire. And then there'll be the Dragon Gym, which may be somewhat worrying. It's a lot sterner of a prospect in Heart Gold and Soul Silver than it is in the Gen 2 originals. Ice Gym time then, and I begin with Breloom. This might seem like a strange thing to do, given that we are weak to ice, but I figure we are more than capable of messing Price up some in exchange. We hit Seal with Headbutt, but it survives a no flinch before we get countered with Icy Wind, which lowers our speed. I then take Seal out with Mega Drain. I cannot wait for a physical grass move. Dugong survives Mach Punch and wipes out a lot of our health with Aurora Beam before we take it out with a second Mach Punch. We hit Piloswine with Mega Drain to recover some health before it misses Blizzard. We land another Mega Drain and a Mach Punch, surviving an Ice Fang in the process before Piloswine does connect with Blizzard and wipes out our health to bring Breloom down. I send in Ambipom and use Tickle, and Price heals. We then connect with Rock Smash to hurt Piloswine for 1/3 of its health, before it then puts the Hail up and connects with a series of Blizzard attacks to bring Ambipom down, while we miss 2 Rock Smashers, so I can only assume it has Snow Cloak as an ability. Noctowl comes in and promptly takes Piloswine out with a pair of Air Slash attacks, getting a flinch on the first one, meaning we don't have to take a hit. 7 badges down. I don't know how good or bad the rival will be in the Goldenrod Underground. He might be easy, he might be tricky. Between Quilava and Golbat, he has some Pokemon that can potentially inflict a lot of damage on us. Haunter might be annoying too, but we can probably deal. My greatest concern about Haunter is that I get locked into a battle with it where I only have Ambipom left, since Ambipom can't hit ghost types at this moment. I need to fix that at some point. Mind you, with the moveset on Ambipom having Cut and Rock Smash, I think I was hoping we'd end up with Technician as an ability when we evolved, but we kept Pickup. That didn't work out how I thought it would. Meh, I like Pickup as an ability. I like the team I've built here, it's pretty fun. It does contain certain Pokemon I like, but also something like Fortress, which I don't think I've ever actually used. Ever. In my entire life. And I'm in my mid-30s, I've been playing this franchise on and off since Red and Blue. Rival battle then, and I guess I'm ready for him. He begins with Golbat, and I send in Butterfree to commence the aerial battle. I'm worried about being poisoned and or confused, so I start with Safeguard, and we promptly get hit with Air Cutter. I'm sure that's cheating. 2 of them to be precise, which wipe out over half our health, but we can take Golbat out with a pair of Psybeams. He goes for Quilava next, and although we do about 1/4 of its health in damage with Psybeam, we get taken out with Flame Wheel. I send Heracross in to Swords Dance, but we get hit with Smokescreen. If only we had an unmissable move. I go for a second Swords Dance, we get hit with Flame Wheel and burned. Oh no, if only we had the Guts ability. JK, we totally have the Guts ability and we smash Quilava with Aerial Ace. Haunter is a one shot with Aerial Ace, you might be shocked to hear. Sneasel does hit Feint Attack, but we take it out with Aerial Ace. Last is Magnemite, and I gamble on Brick Break, aware of the accuracy drop we suffered. It connects and we take it out for the win. I mentioned Archer earlier and I am curious. I head into battle with him with Ambipom in the lead. Houndour is out first and it's not a problem. We connect with 2 Rock Smash attacks to take it out, all while it simply misses Fire Fang on us. Houndoom survives the first Rock Smash and does connect with Fire Fang, but it doesn't do a huge amount of damage, and our second Rock Smash takes it out thanks to the defense drop. Coughing is probably the roughest of the 3, tanking double hits and cuts, lowering our accuracy with Smokescreen, but also poisoning us with Sludge. So it's not a pleasant fight, but we do eventually take it out with Ambipom nearly defeated. Going through the ice path, and I think I need to be ready for the Dragon Gym. I can really see this being unpleasant. I'm likely going to have to fling my entire team at her and hope for the best, but we shall see. I also did the YouTube investigation to see if this challenge has been done before. I thought this was a neat and unusual idea, but the problem is it has been done before, so it's not. Oh well, I'm still enjoying taking the stab at it. It's a fun run with some Pokemon I've not used for a while / before. I mean, I've used Hoothoot in a challenge before. I think I used Butterfree somewhere. Breloom I used before, as mentioned in the Emerald HM run. Apom is something I have wanted to use for a while. I was thinking at one point to try and solo Emerald with Apom. Probably still could do that at some point. Dragon Gym then. She begins with Gyarados in this fight, and it is an obstacle because we don't have a fantastic way of hurting it with no electric moves in our arsenal. I make the decision to begin with Noctowl versus Gyarados, since it's one of my few Pokemon who isn't going to be affected by Intimidate. I try to go for Reflect, but Gyarados is faster and makes us flinch with Bite. At the second attempt, I get Reflect up after we've been hit with Bite again. We get blasted with Dragon Rage and our confusion does pretty much nothing. Noctowl is really having its feathered ass kicked here. We're then put on 1 HP with Dragon Pulse and we strike an Air Slash before being taken out. Ambipom comes in and we immediately strike Gyarados with double hit before getting blasted with Dragon Rage. Cut fails to take Gyarados out as we eat another Dragon Rage and then Claire heals. We then miss Cut to add insult to injury, but we do get a Tickle attack off on Gyarados to lower its attack and defense. We survive a Bite and then knock half its health off with double hit before going down to Dragon Pulse. Forretress comes in, we lose a massive chunk of health to a pair of Dragon Rage attacks, but we can take Gyarados out with 2 uses of Strength, so that's something for sure. Dragonair number 1 comes in and ends Forretress with Fire Blast. Okay, so that was bad then. Heracross comes in and lands Brick Break, but Dragonair paralyses Heracross with Thunder Wave. Heracross then gets hit with Fire Blast, but we take the Dragonair out with another Brick Break. Kingdra is third and immediately ends Heracross with a Hydro Pump. I send Butterfree in, and although we get hit with Smokescreen, we do manage to get a Tailwind up. Bug Buzz hits Kingdra and lowers its special defense, as well as it missing Hydro Pump on us. Another Bug Buzz puts it on red health, prompting use of a berry, and it lands another Smokescreen. The Tailwind goes down, Kingdra hits a Hyper Beam, but Butterfree survives and takes it out with a third Bug Buzz. We have to tank a Slam from Dragonair number 2, but we do hurt it with Bug Buzz. We try to finish Dragonair number 2 with Psybeam, not sure why, but it survives and takes Butterfree out with Aqua Tail. Player heals as Breloom comes in and lamps Dragonair with 2 headbutts that wipe out most of its health. Breloom does get paralysed over the course of this fight, but despite having to survive a Dragon Pulse, we do soon shake through paralysis and land a Mach Punch to take it out. That was rough. As I battle the Kimono Girls, let's talk about what's ongoing with the channel. I'm doing this later than normal, and that's because there's not really too much to talk about, and I don't really want to do a blow-by-blow of the fight with the Kimono Girls. So, I'm not sure when this will air. I did mention it in the last challenge, but I've recently gone through some lifestyle upheaval, which is going to heavily affect how I do the YouTube thing. You might have noticed there's not been much in the way of uploading recently, just some TCG stuff, of which I've got plenty of. At the time of writing this, I just found an absolute god pack for Prismatic Evolutions, and I remember going absolutely nuts on the video. There hasn't been any Let's Play stuff because I haven't been recording Let's Play stuff. I got 4 episodes of my Resident Evil 7 playthrough recorded, but I don't want to upload it until I have more. I don't want to start uploading something and then stopping halfway through. Well, I don't want to do that again anyway. I've done that plenty of times, but not for this one. I don't want to do it until then. I don't know why I have such a mental block about RE7. The next challenge I do, looking at it, is going to be another tag team run. This one has potential to be interesting. I'm going to see if I can beat Pokemon Fire Red with a tag team of Ralts and Abra. I feel like that may be brutal, but we will see. I've got challenges planned for throughout the year. I definitely don't want to stop, but we'll have to see how it goes. Any ideas for future challenges, head to the comment section down below or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. I'm on my way towards Victory Road now, and I guess I've got to think about what the Elite Four have in store. I mean, there's a lot of overlap in my team, and it could make some fights tricky. Will could be interesting. We have the means to hurt him, but I think he's also capable of hurting us back, which is likely not going to be good. Koga could go either way. I mean, we should be able to get past him, but it's probably going to be an effort, particularly Fortress and Muck. Bruno maybe could be an issue. I mean, again, we do have those common weaknesses, and he is a moderately competent trainer in HGSS. Karen might be an issue. I think we're going to struggle, though probably not as much as we are going to struggle versus Lance. I can see that Lance fight being rough for sure. I mean, Charizard could probably wreck us solo, and we saw what happened versus Claire's Gyarados. Plus, add Aerodactyl into that mix, it's going to be rough, and I haven't even mentioned the Dragonite yet. Anyway, there is a rival fight before we can get to the Indigo Plateau, and it's not a clean one for sure, I will say that. He begins with Sneasel. I know this from past experience, and I send Heracross in to fight it. We go for Swords Dance, but we do get hit with Icy Wind, which lowers our speed. Not useful for sure. Sneasel hits Feint Attack, but we fold it with Brick Break. Golbat is second. It is faster and lands Air Cutter, which we actually managed to survive. Unfortunately, Golbat survives Horn Attack and takes us out with another Air Cutter. Ambipom comes in and revenge kills Golbat with Cut. Magneton is next. We land a Rock Smash for decent damage and lowering its defences. We get hit with Thunder Wave and Spark, but another Rock Smash is enough to take it down for the count. Typhlosion is next and it hits us with Lava Plume, but double hit does decent damage to it. The second Lava Plume crits, but I'm not sure we'd have survived it anyway. Noctowl comes in to fight Typhlosion, and although we get hit with 2 Lava Plumes and burned by the second, we can take it down with 2 Air Slash attacks. Kadabra is next. It survives Air Slash and finishes Noctowl off with Psybeam. Breloom comes in to Mach Punch Kadabra down before Haunter is last. Our only move capable of hurting it is Seed Bomb, and thankfully it one-shots, giving us the win. At the Pokemon League, here are our stats. I got my entire team to at least level 45 ahead of this, and this is what we are working with. I guess it's probably not too bad. I mean, some of the movesets are a bit similar type-wise. We don't get a lot of coverage, I'll say that. I mean, I do feel like the lack of an ice or electric move is going to cost us somewhere. Probably against Lance, let's be honest, but it could be a whole lot worse. Take your guesses on if we can do it at this level or not. Right now, folks. Let's do this. Cue that Gen 5 gym music. Psychic Trainer Will is first, and well, I'd certainly say that I feel the need for worry against him. He has some stuff that might be able to mess us up, given a chunk of our team is weak against Psychic, Ice or Flying, which are 3 types he has access to. He begins with Xatu number 1. We send in Ambipom to start the battle since we have a super effective move. We do take it out with 2 Shadow Claws but get hurt by Psychic and have our special defense lowered. Jinx survives double hit and then takes us out with a crit Psychic. Fortress comes in, we get hit with Psychic for meagre damage and then take Jinx out with Bug Bite. Executor is third, we manage to one-shot with our quad effective stab Bug Bite. Slowbro is fourth, we hit some Bug Bites but it starts to spam Curse and this is slowly turning into a scary situation as our Bug Bites do less and less damage. Our third one puts it on a fraction of its health and in healing range. I know he will heal, so I switch into Butterfree. Physical attacks are probably useless now. Bug Buzz hurts Slowbro badly before it goes for amnesia. I take it out with 2 Psybeams to conserve Bug Buzz PP, but we do lose nearly half our HP to Psychic. Xatu number 2 strikes Aerial Ace to down Butterfree, and I need to send in another Pokemon. I choose Noctowl, it tanks Psychic with a special defense drop and then crits Air Slash to put Xatu in berry usage range. Noctowl does get hit with Confuse Ray, but we land another Air Slash to take it out. That was brutal, we won, but at what price? Poison Trainer Koga is up second, and I don't think I can take another battle like I just did versus Will. We were very fortunate there. Koga does have some big threats for sure, so we need to be careful. I begin with Noctowl since he'll begin with Ariados, and we immediately one-shot with Air Slash, so great start. Fortress is second, and this is annoying. We don't have a fantastic way of hurting it, so I keep Noctowl in to keep hitting neutral Air Slashers. Fortress has indifferent special defense, so this is the best option given we have no fire moves. It has Protect, which is annoying, and also Toxic Spikes, which it puts down. Koga heals it after a while, so we are wasting more PP to take this thing out. I even throw a Reflect up at one point to counter the use of Protect. Although we lose a small amount of health to Swift, we soon take it down with Air Slash. Muck is a pain as it soaks up our Air Slashers and even a Fly, healing itself with the Black Sludge. And at no point during the opening exchanges of the fight does it occur to me to try and hit it with extrasensory. My mind just went blank, and so on and goes until I realise we do have a Psychic move, and shock horror, it actually does decent damage and takes Muck out. Crobat is fourth, and now that I remember we have extrasensory, we use it a lot, landing 3 of them to bring it down. Flinching it is unlikely, if not impossible. We get hit with a few wing attacks and it tries to save itself with Double Team, but it's no good. Venomoth proves to be a surprisingly tricky opponent for Noctowl, surviving both Air Slash and after Koga heals it, shrugging off Fly as well. It isn't too long before a few Psychic attacks bring Noctowl down. Fortress comes in since I know there's Toxic Spikes up, so I want to avoid being poisoned. We get confused and have to shrug off hitting ourselves as well as Psychic, but we bring it down with Strength for the win. Fighting Trainer Bruno is third, and if I'm lucky, this might be the easiest of the Elite Four. I'd say I'm set up reasonably well to battle fighting types, but it's all about the coverage that he has, so we still need to be careful. He begins with Hitmontop, and I send in Butterfree. Hitmontop shrugs off Psybeam, gets confused and fails with Counter. It hits itself in confusion and then we take it out with another Psybeam. Onyx is second, but we land a crit Bug Buzz to take it down for the count and give us a knockout. Hitmonlee is third and one-shots us with Blaze Kick, prompting the arrival of Noctowl to battle it. It uses Focus Energy and then misses Swagger, bit of a fail there, as we take it out with Air Slash and Extra Sensory. Hitmonchan does connect with a Thunder Punch on Noctowl, but Extra Sensory weakens it and we can finish it off with Fly to put us into battle with Machamp. We do hit Machamp with 2 Air Slashes, but thanks to the berry it manages to survive what would probably have been a fatal blow otherwise. We get a flinch the first time, but the second time it doesn't flinch and takes Noctowl out with Cross Chop. Heracross comes in and we use Swords Dance while Bruno heals. We then start landing Aerial Aces on Machamp, and although it does connect with Rock Slide, and although Bruno uses healing items, very annoying, we can soon bring it down for a third win. Dark Trainer Karen takes a few tries, and trouble with her comes from a pretty unexpected source, one that I definitely wouldn't have thought would be an issue ahead of time, but with hindsight, she begins with Umbreon and I send out Heracross to spam Swords Dance since I know Umbreon likes to use Double Team, and well, we have Aerial Ace. It also has Confuse Ray, which very much not helpful as we hit ourselves while at +4 in attack, very much not ideal. Even with +4 attack, Aerial Ace doesn't do fantastic damage on Umbreon, but 2 of them are enough to take it out. Murkrow was the surprise problem in this fight as it kept outspeeding my entire team, and it does the same here, using Pluck to pluck Heracross up badly. I send Butterfree in to try and set a Tailwind up, but we get outsped and one-shot with Pluck. I send in Forretress to lay down some spikes and tank some hits, though we're not actually getting any further along with damaging Murkrow for sure. Bug Bite scores some hits, eventually we get some low damage rolls and Murkrow survives the second one on red health, forcing a heal, and we then have to whittle it down again. Yay, but at least we get a crit on this one to end it reasonably quickly. Houndoom is third. I try to use Explosion, but it takes us out with Dark Pulse before we can. Cheap shot for sure. Ambipom comes in and we start hitting Rock Smashers, getting a defense drop. We do pretty well over the course of the fight. We get hit with Flamethrower and Crunch that leave us incredibly weak, but we do at least manage to bring Houndoom down. Ambipom even inflicts good damage on Gengar with Shadow Claw, but goes down to Focus Blast. Noctowl comes in. I go for Reflect since I figure Destiny Bond is coming based on prior experience of this fight. We manage to avoid mutual destruction and take Gengar out the next turn with Extra Sensory. Vileplume is last. We land an Air Slash and flinch it before watching as Karen heals, and with that in mind we can soon bring it down with a crit Extra Sensory for the win. That was rough. Landsteinum, boy oh boy, this is certainly a step up in difficulty. This goes so badly that it isn't even funny. Gyarados is rough right at the start. Ambipom tries to face off with it, but it ends badly despite our best efforts to weaken it. Gyarados is an absolute monster when there are no electric moves to take it out with. Lance has healing items as well, which really doesn't help. Between Aerodactyl and Charizard, the rest of my team goes down pretty quickly, and I head off to grind. I don't have another option. While I'm grinding, I did find a shiny Doduo, but wasn't able to catch it. Well, to be honest, I could have hooked some balls at it if I really wanted to, but I guess it was just not meant to be. I want to be able to use it anyway, which is always the thing, but yeah, whenever I find a shiny, I want to try at least. I make some more tries on Lance with my team at about the level 50 mark, and already the grinding is starting to annoy me, but what other choice do I have? I mean, it's got to be done. All I can say is the efforts at this level are going a lot better than the efforts 5 levels earlier, so that's something. Maybe with another 5 levels on each of my team, that might be a tipping point, so I guess I'm going back on the grinding trail. Yay! With all my team at least level 55, we come back and he begins with Gyarados. We are intimidated. I send Ambipom in and start to spam some tickle attacks. We use one. We get hit with a waterfall, which doesn't do too bad damage, but I need Ambipom elsewhere, and I switch into Fortress. We do get hit with 3 waterfalls in a row, thanks to the switch and the flinch that comes, but they only do about a third of our health combined. Strength does do decent damage for sure, just under half. 2 of them put Gyarados onto red health, and we're still standing pretty strong. Lance does heal, but we have that Shell Bell, so we are recovering health every time we hit it. I just keep on using Strength, and we're about the half health mark by the time Gyarados goes down. The other benefit of Fortress is that it lures Charizard out early, and I immediately switch out because I want to use Fortress later. Noctowl then comes into battle Charizard. We shrug off a Fire Fang that would probably have ended Fortress, and then we start to trade Air Slash attacks. We hit Charizard and then it hits us. We get hit with 2 of them, but we are faster, and that is enough to make sure we land 3 of them and take it out. Aerodactyl is third. I try to put a Reflect up, but Noctowl is outsped and taken out with Crunch. Fortress comes in. I try to Gyro Ball it, but we get both flinched and crit with Rock Slide. And although we hurt it badly with Gyro Ball, eventually, it's not enough and we get taken out with another Rock Slide. Ambipom comes out, we land a Tickle and a crit Shadow Claw to take Aerodactyl out and put us into battle with the first of 3 Dragonite. We land a Tickle attack, it lets us survive an Outrage, and then Ambipom strikes out with a crit Secret Power that very nearly one-shots Dragonite, forcing it to eat its berry. Outrage then takes Ambipom out though. I send out Heracross and start going for Swords Dance. Dragonite hurts itself in confusion and then Lance heals the next turn, letting us buff our attack unthreatened, and we soon take Dragonite down with Rock Tomb. The second Dragonite isn't an issue either as it emerges, and we also take that out with Rock Tomb. And the final Dragonite is last, but given we've conquered 2 already with no issue, we soon take it out with Rock Tomb, and with that, we've triumphed. We have won the champion battle, and we can head off into the Hall of Fame with my team. I think we take this moment to appreciate the hard work we did. But, of course, it's not over yet. This is Johto. We have the Kanto post-game, and although I'm not battling the other 7 gym leaders, I will show the battle versus Blue, followed by the inevitable brick wall of Red. I might rare candy up for Red, since I don't fancy grinding everyone up the inevitable odd 30 levels I'll probably need at the very least. Even then, 30 levels might not be enough, that's what I'm getting at, but we will have to see. I make a few tries on Blue then, and eventually we get a run which goes something like this. He begins with Executor, so it's an easy start to the fight as I send Butterfree in to Bug Buzz it down for the count in a single hit. This is the easy part. He then goes into Arcanine and we are intimidated. I switch into Noctowl and tank a Flare Blitz and an Extreme Speed before we hit a weak Extrasensory. It has lost nearly half its health before we go down to another Extreme Speed. Breloom comes in. We hit Headbutt and get the flinch on Arcanine before Blue heals. We continue to hit Headbutts, getting 2 of them off before Breloom is taken out in 1 hit from Flare Blitz, which perhaps not ideal. Ambipom comes in and uses Secret Power to take Arcanine out. Machamp is next. I switch into Fortress and we are immediately hit with Dynamic Punch and confused. I try to take Machamp out with Explosion, but we end up hitting ourselves twice in confusion, and we also get wrecked by more Dynamic Punch attacks, which, not nice. No guard Machamp is very unpleasant. Butterfree comes in, hits Psychic and then gets downed with Stone Edge in 1 hit, and we are being rocked now. I go into Heracross. We use Swords Dance before tanking Stone Edge. I use another Swords Dance and we have to suffer another Stone Edge. I need power now, and eventually, even though we are hurting, we take Machamp down with Aerial Ace. Our Quick Claw activates versus Pidgeot, and we smash it down with Brick Break before the next opponent is Rhydon. A single Brick Break brings it down for the count, and we're back in the ascendancy. Gyarados is last. We go for Rock Tomb and it misses, and of course we get taken out with Waterfall. Double whammy. It's down to Ambipom then. We crit Secret Power while Gyarados goes to Dragon Dance. Blue then heals. We hit Secret Power twice in a row to bring Gyarados to red health, and we paralyse it, while Gyarados goes to Dragon Dance again. Blue heals again. He's starting to really piss me off now. We hit Secret Power, we paralyse it again, we put it on red health, and Gyarados is fully paralysed. And then Blue heals again. We hit 2 more Secret Powers, but Gyarados gets in a 3rd Dragon Dance and then smashes us with Waterfall that leaves us on 7 HP, but we can land the Secret Power to take it out and give us the win. Thank goodness for that. That was insanely fortunate. On the way to red then. I'm going to Rare Candy for this fight. I'm not grinding my team up that many levels. Oh, and here's the kicker. I'm already going to be at a disadvantage for this fight, since none of my team can learn Rock Climb, and I need it to get to him. This is one thing I will do nothing but praise newer Pokemon games for. No HMs, it's a better system. It's one of the few things I'll praise BDSP for. They got rid of the HM system. Anyway, I digress. I leave Butterfree behind and put Snorlax in my party purely as an HM friend. That is literally the only Pokemon I have got out of everything I've caught through this run that can learn Rock Climb. And the only reason I caught Snorlax was to get the leftovers off it. And then I trek off up Mount Silver. I don't like to use the Rare Candy cheat, but this is pretty much where I'll make the exception. I did consider just saying, oh, none of my team can learn Rock Climb, let's call it a draw in the run, but I'm not about to do that. I do make a try with my team at level 85 and we come up just short. I mean it, we got to the last Pokemon, the Snorlax, but we just didn't have enough. But I level them all up, 5 more levels and then try again. This is how it goes. I begin with Breloom and we face Pikachu, outspeeding and taking it out with a single Seed Bomb. It was a crit, don't know if that was needed, but I don't have to worry about static this way. Of course, that means Charizard is next. I switch into Noctowl. We have to tank 2 Flare Blitz attacks, but our Air Slash in combination with Recoil and Hail does mean Charizard is dropped onto red health, even as we're taken out by the weather. This is the gamble. I know red will heal, so I send Heracross in to Rock Tomb, heavily weaken Charizard and lower its speed. This goes exactly as planned. We strike Aerial Ace to bring it down. Lapras is next. We do manage to land 2 Brick Breaks to take it out, but we do lose a good chunk of health to Blizzard in the process, so the victory isn't entirely without a downside. We hit Blastoise with Brick Break and survive a Blizzard on red health. The combination of chip damage from the hail isn't enough to take it out as it ends us with another Blizzard. 2 of my 5 Pokemon are down. I figure red is going to heal, so I send Breloom in to land a Seed Bomb on Blastoise, the big damage, and we take it down pretty hard. Venusaur is next. We try to get the flinch with Headbutt and fail miserably. We get one shot with Sludge Bomb, just not ideal at all. I send Forretress in, and it turns into a really boring slogfest of a fight as Venusaur keeps putting us to sleep, but it can't really hurt us. We are immune to Sludge Bomb, and it keeps firing Frenzy Plant and Giga Drain attacks at us, which, while the damage does mount up, especially in conjunction with the hail, we do manage to weather them pretty well. We do quad resist grass, don't forget. Our Bug Bites don't really do a lot of damage, and we can't really get any sort of repeated assault going because we just end up back asleep again sooner rather than later. Eventually, in the end, we land another Bug Bite to put Venusaur in red health before we get taken down with a Giga Drain from low health. I just have Ambipom left and he comes in and drops Venusaur with Secret Power. Snorlax is last. We crit a Rock Smash but don't get the defense drop. We don't take as much damage from Blizzard as I thought we might, but I know I'm getting sick of being hit with that move. We trade more attacks. We put Snorlax on red health with Secret Power, getting blasted with Blizzard in exchange. Red heals. I get a defense drop with Rock Smash, which is welcome. I decide to double down on Rock Smash since defense drops could be absolutely mega. The final exchange happens, Blizzard versus Rock Smash, and when it comes, we bring Snorlax down. And I believe this is the first time I've beaten Red in a Heart Gold challenge. I didn't even get to Kanto in one of them when I did the Regigigas one. Well, I did decide to be cocky with that one and not use TMs because I thought it'd be too easy otherwise. But that's in the past. I've come a long way since then because I'm just actually, I don't really want to vocalise this, but I'm just thinking on how far I've come there in personal and professional. I think that was like the 25th challenge I did, and well, about 140 odd now, so wow. Anyway, Red's no joke. I did do that run in Heart Gold with ground types and I beat him there, but I digress. I mean, this is the 4th challenge I've done, the Regigigas one, the Buneri one, and Oddish and Bellsprout I think it was, and here we are. I digress. Anyway, thanks for watching folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, call out with a comment and smash that subscribe button, help the channel grow. Join me again next time for another Pokemon challenge as I see if I can beat Pokemon Fire Red with a team of Ralts and Abra. Sure to be interesting, probably painful as well. Any ideas for future challenges, call out below. Anyway, I'm going to jump off here folks, thanks for watching, take care, have a great day and see you next time. Team run videos always take so long, I can't believe this video's been nearly an hour long. Well, that's how much recording I've got anyway. Take care, have a great day, bye!